Why, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV on PlayFrame and the Eureka storyline. I'm very excited because, again, I've not seen any further in this than you have, so this is all new to me. The gang is all gathered to start doing good work, but first, there's story to be seen. A fine evening to you, adventurer. If you've not yet deduced from my cheery tone, Mistress Kryle and the others have made great strides in restoring the Ethernet, enabling us to access another region of the island. Pyros, they've taken to calling it. Or Pyros. No one can know for sure. On account of all the fire-aspected ether. It's probably Pyros, right? A new base camp has already been established, so that messy business is over and done with. Of course, they'll need all the help they can get with the expedition. All the help you can provide, that is. Anyway, as soon as you're ready to go, let me know, and I'll see you on your way. Mistress Kryle's probably dying to brief you on all of her discoveries. And I'm eager to hear about them, Rodney. Let me in. You now have access to the forbidden land Eureka Pyros. Pyros, darn it, choose one. Like Mnemes and Pagos, Pyros can be explored in parties of up to 8 players or solo. To embark on the journey, it doesn't matter, yes, thank you, good. Let me in. Ooh. Volcanic. This is good. I was feeling quite done with cold weather. Look at the fire crabs! Love me a good fire crab. Hey, there's still ice here. Neat. I like this. All right. Neat. I like it. I like that, especially. That's pretty. Cool camp. Okay. Kryle, I'm here. Sorry, just taking it in. I've not seen this one before. How are you? Always a pleasure, Derman. I'm sure you're eager to get to it, but before we begin, I want to make sure you remember where we left off. To review, we established a base camp here so we could make use of a proto-aetherite nearby. This aetherite was constructed several thousand years ago and is a precursor to the designs we use today. As such, we used it primarily for monitoring ethereal fluctuations, and rarely for teleportation. Per Ejika's suggestion, we've decided to study this proto-aetherite that we might gain greater insight into the many mysteries surrounding the Isle of Val and its current state. If, in doing so, we can further stabilize the regional Ethernet, then all the better. Makes sense. Our primary objective, as ever, remains the same. Find a way to reach the headquarters of the students of Baldesion at the Isle's center, and there seek out and aid any survivors. And that about covers it. Did you see Ejika on your way in, by the way? He should have arrived by now. Ah, there you are. Speak of the devil. Ejika, surely you saw us standing over here. Don't be a stranger. Come and speak with us. Oh, you two. Forgive me, I was lost in thought. Whoa. You are coming around. I've never known you to be that oblivious as to your surroundings. What troubles you, Ejika? Well, You know, this place, and... it is of no moment. Would that I had new information to share, but, alas, I do not. I can but hope that I can be of greater use to you all in the future. Best of luck to you both in your many endeavors. You've gotten very polite since last time. Gods, he's a terrible liar. Oh. I bought it, though. Nevertheless, I know better than to pester him for answers when he's behaving like that. It's the same as when he's wrestling with his research. He'll talk when he's good and ready, which will hopefully be sooner than later. Or maybe he'll be more forthcoming if and when you run into him in the wild, like before. Maybe try asking him then. It's a plan. But enough about Ejika. You should see the proto-aetherite for yourself. It's not far from here, if you'll come with me. All right, lead on. Although, actually, I probably should, before I do anything and forget, do this. There we are. Thank you. Now, Cryo, where'd you go? Yeah, I'm mounting up. It's gonna take forever to walk wherever you went. Oh, you went outside. That tracks. Ooh, what's down here? That looks like a library or something. Neat. Ooh, and look at that. That's cool. Very Allegan adjacent. Neat. We call this place the Living Foundry. Its beating heart, the proto-aetherite. Although we rarely used it for transportation before, we believe it could easily be integrated into the regional Ethernet, further stabilizing it and improving our chances of safely reaching our headquarters. Of course, we'll need to run more than a few preliminary tests before we can say for certain what's feasible and what's not. I'll let you know as soon as I have results to share. Works for me. You needn't wait around here twiddling your thumbs, though. Geralt was looking for you. Said he had a proposition or two to discuss. You'll find him back at the base camp. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't really stop and check in with him back at Pagos last time he wanted to see me, but hopefully he doesn't feel too snubbed. Geralt! Where are you? Geralt? Ah, here you are. You're looking tall today. There he is. Kryle sent you my way, did she? Good, good. Let's get down to business then. First off, while I was racking my brain to come up with another half-dozen ways to free myself from my financial burdens, I stumbled upon a method by which we might improve that magia board of yours. Augment it, that is to say. Go on. So, you can only affix up to 5 magicite to it, eh? Well, what if I told you there was a way we might add a 6th to the mix? Yes, please. Aye, I thought you might perk up at the sound of that. Now, I don't want you to get your hopes up too much. There's still a limit on how much you can strengthen your affinity with a given element, for one. And you'll need special materials to get the job done. If you're still keen, that engineer over yonder can walk you through the process. Hello. You know, I am keen. Second surprise I got for you is outside. We call it the Logos Manipulator. Drake's the one who can tell you all about it. I'll see these two then. Third and last topic of discussion is near and dear to my heart, namely that of my bottomless debts. What about them? Oi! Har har, very funny, very amusing. Walking off before I get to the good part, you know damn well's coming. You want stronger weapons or not? Well, I guess. Aye, that's what I bloody thought. Just for that, go and talk to Drake first, then we'll have a chat about you and your god-killing trinkets. Bah! Someone's feeling saucy. Drake, please explain. Greetings, sir. You are come at the behest of Master Geralt, I presume? That is correct. Wonderful, wonderful. Pray, allow me to explain the operation of the Logos Manipulator to you then. I'm sure that in your extensive travels you've come across all manner of crystals, including those which are host to the wisdom and memories of others. Soul crystals, for instance. These echoes of experience, or mnemes... What? Mnemes? I'm calling them memes, as we have taken to calling them. It's probably not what they're called. Mnemes, have been discovered in a wide variety of crystals we've collected in Pyros. Pyros, you know, doggone it, this place. After studying those logograms for a while, we've devised a means to extract the mnemes within. Mnemes, and transubstantiate them into an alchemical substance which can confer incredible abilities upon an individual. These abilities need not be within the means of the user, be they formidable weapon skills or magics. Through the power of the mnemes contained within the logograms born of this otherworldly place, the impossible is possible. I have every reason to believe that these abilities will prove invaluable in your exploration of Pyros and beyond. Though, having said that out loud, I would be surprised if you weren't the least bit skeptical. Perhaps a demonstration's in order. Take this logogram to the manipulator and see for yourself how it works. It's quite easy to use, rest assured. I'll be the judge of that. So, this strange and mysterious device appears to be the Logos manipulator of which Drake spoke. Hopefully it's as simple and easy to use as he claims. So far, so good. Okay, so we've got a paralyzed large crystal. I'm gonna drop it in here. Extract mneme. The Logos action Paralyze L is realized. Great. Afflict target with paralysis. Interesting. Huh. And now I got a new, action thing I can do, a new ability. Cool. I've heard of this system, but it sounded pretty complex. I'll probably have to do some research on the side, and I don't think it's going to be even remotely of interest to any of you. So that's for me and my time. Do we have any more quests in this area, or am I done for now? Nope, there is one more. Oh, I should probably talk to Drake again. That was rude. Drake, my apologies. Simple, is it not? Like I said, the manipulator can be used to quickly and easily extract, I should figure out how to pronounce those later, from within your logograms and transubstantiate them into myriad alchemical substances, which will empower you in ways beyond imagination. However, as the precise nature of logograms is not readily discerned by the layman, any which you discover in the wild you will first need to bring to me for appraisal. Once I've identified the nature of the mnemes contained within a given logogram, you may use it with a manipulator. Furthermore, while you may process logograms one at a time, you might find it advantageous to extract and transubstantiate mnemes from multiple logograms at once. Certain combinations may produce more potent substances. Neat. During your exploration of the Forbidden Land, Pyros, and subsequent regions, you may obtain logograms. Logograms can be appraised by Drake, who will identify the precise nature of the things contained within. Once logograms have been appraised, they may be used in conjunction with the Logos manipulator to obtain Logos actions. Up to 3 actions may be set at any time. Furthermore, you may review information regarding all Logos actions obtained to date by speaking with Drake. Drake, I'm not sure how of interest this is to the average story mode viewer. Ah, there you are. Drake has briefed you on the Logos manipulator, I take it? Boy, has he. I have, Mr. Skryl. He should have no difficulties using it. I wouldn't go that far, but he has introduced us. Glad to hear it. I finished my tests of the proto-aetherite. Perhaps we could discuss the results over yonder? That sounds great. Oh, before I forget, the Logos manipulator's key to Master Geralt's plans for further augmenting your Eureka weapon. When you have a moment to spare, I can tell you more. Sounds good. I've not been working on it, I'll be honest. Kinda had my hands full out here. Drake? It's a lot of story recording and grinding work to coordinate and do. And boy, am I grateful to everybody who's been joining along. As for the results of my tests, well, while I've yet to grasp the whole picture, my general understanding of the ethereal instability we've been dealing with is much improved. Curiously, this is not as recent a development as I had believed. In fact, according to records I found in the Foundry, a massive and sustained increase in ethereal density in the vicinity of our headquarters was first recorded almost 20 years ago. You don't think this was a natural increase, do you? Not in the least. In your vision of the past, Grandfather spoke of reversing the flow, which could have entailed the manipulation of ethereal currents that they might converge upon our headquarters. To what end is perhaps the more important question, especially since my initial survey suggests that a deiform entity is located somewhere beneath the headquarters of the students of Baldesion. To make matters worse, it seems this entity is growing in strength, perhaps by feeding off the ether being funneled towards the center of the Isle. That sounds like a future problem, Kryl. For me. I doubt this was Grandfather and the others' intention at the time, of course. Rather, given what you saw in your visions, it's far more likely that they were attempting to imprison a primal being. Unfortunately, if these results are any indication, whatever measures they took to do so are failing, and this entity may soon break free. Perhaps it was in response to this mounting danger that someone erected a barrier around our headquarters, a final, desperate measure to contain a terrible threat. That is a very Final Fantasy V plot. Only time and further study will tell. Anyway, to my mind, we still have two primary objectives at present. First, we use every method at our disposal to ascertain the nature of the primal, and the methods Grandfather and the others employed to hold it in check. Second, and as before, we continue to work towards restoring the regional Ethernet to full functionality in order to gain access to headquarters and search for survivors. At first, I thought that Grandfather might need our help, but perhaps it's us who needs his help, especially if we're dealing with primals or Ascians or gods know what else. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, we have more simple concerns. I've located another confluence of ether not far from here, suggesting the presence of magicite. It's somewhere in the northeastern ice needles. I'd like you to go and investigate it if that's all right. We're on the job. Thank you. I'll spare you the warnings about the untold dangers lurking out there, given that this is hardly your first time here in Eureka. Good luck. Thank you, Kryl. Everyone's doing their quests and getting all ready. And once we're all prepared, we will march as one out into the wilderness and just attack so many things and get all the levels, basically do all the grinding we did last time to kind of level our way to the cap of this area and then run back through and do the rest of the quest. It's just kind of easiest that way. So, begin the grind. All right, we've done a lot of leveling out here, so it's much safer for me to be out here wandering toward quests. I like this area a lot better than the previous one just for looks alone. It's pretty. Anyway, I found it. At the center of the confluence of ether, you find a shimmering stone, magicite. As you kneel to retrieve it, the confluence dissipates. Welp. Back to Kryl with me then. Kryl. Job done. You found it, I presume? The confluence vanished while you were away, so call it a hunch. Since your magia board can hold no more magicite, I hope you'll allow me to hold on to this piece for the time being. I got nothing else to do with it. Much appreciated. There are other confluences elsewhere in Pyros, so I expect I'll be asking you to do this again as soon as we've pinpointed their locations. Right. Which, how soon might that be, though? Soon? Kryl, is it soon? Kryl is soon now. I'd love it if it was now. Oh, I was just thinking of sending someone to find you. I have tidings. Yes, I sneaked up very good, apparently. Believe it or not, that magicite you found was key to confirming beyond a shadow of a doubt what I'd long suspected, that the Isle of Val came to the Glass Ocean by way of a powerful teleportation magic. In other words, the theories we had about the Ascians or whoever else unleashing a destructive magic akin to Ultima were completely mistaken. Which isn't to say that this teleportation magic wasn't exceedingly destructive and disruptive in its own right. An island does not up and vanish and reappear on the other side of the world without significant repercussions. All the strange phenomena we've observed until now, the twisted ethereal currents, the warped elemental energies and erratic weather, magicite and logograms and monsters, all of it stems from this teleportation. all of this could have been anticipated, at least to a degree, which prompts me to wonder why someone would nevertheless decide to utilize such a powerful magic. The answer to that question, however, continues to elude me. All right, what do you need me to find? No point dwelling on it. We have another confluence to investigate, or will, as soon as I finish analyzing this data. There is another matter you might attend to before then, though. It concerns the Logos manipulator, and certain improvements that should make your life a lot easier. Drake can tell you more. Ah, very well then. Drake. I'm coming over here to bother you. Bothering. ETA in 3, 2, 1. Commence bothering. Well met, sir. Mistress Kryle sent you to speak with me, did she not? I'll get right to the point then. In actuality, the Logos manipulator is designed to incorporate 2 arrays, not just 1. If we were to integrate a second, its capacity would be, in essence, doubled, allowing for more complex transubstantiation. However, we lacked the necessary components when we first built it, which is why it only has the 1 array. It would be such a shame not to take full advantages of its capabilities, though, which is why I bade Mistress Kryle send you to me. You see, what I require may be at the Surget Town house to the southeast. Oh, Surget Town, that's a Final Fantasy V place. I've written a detailed description of the components I seek. If you could spare the time to journey there and search the ruins for anything resembling it, I promise it'll be worth your while. It better be. I'm off. This appears to be the place, I think. Yes. Okay. Some promising scrap. Searching through the metal scrap, you uncover several components matching the description provided by Drake. Whether or not they are still usable, however, remains to be seen. I guess we'll have to go back to find out, won't we? Let's just go ahead and do that. Here we go. I fetched. A pleasure to see you again. Could it be that you've brought me the components I seek? What luck. They seem to be in good working order. If you'll give me a moment. Ooh. It looks even fancier. There. I've completed the modifications. The Logos manipulator now has 2 arrays, which you may use to transubstantiate alchemical substances, which will confer upon you multiple abilities. I should warn you that the process is not foolproof, though. With every logogram added to the mix beyond the first 3, there is an increased chance of failure. But with great risk comes great reward, as they say. Neat. Feel free to test this new functionality at your leisure. I will. Maybe when I'm not doing story things. Drake? An umbral array has been added to the Logos manipulator, doubling its capacity. By utilizing both the astral and umbral arrays during transubstantiation, you may acquire 2 Logos actions which can be registered simultaneously. A maximum of 6 logograms, 3 in each array, may be processed in this manner. However, be advised that attempts to transubstantiate, it's pronounced mnemes. I learned. Mnemes. It's Greek, which I should have guessed. All the names out here are Greek. From 4 or more logograms may end in failure. In the event transubstantiation is unsuccessful, logograms will be consumed. This is not interesting to story people, Drake. By the way, Mistress Kryle was asking after you not long ago. I gather she has something important to share with you. I should probably go check in then. Kryle, what you need? You finished helping Drake improve the Logos manipulator? Well done. It ought to prove more useful than ever. Now then, as you've probably guessed, I've finally located the next piece of magicite I'd like you to go and collect. This one you'll find in the caves to the northeast, near a place called the Firing Chamber. Getting there won't be easy, I'm afraid. Be careful. I will. I'm off. And found it. It's here with all the fire crabs. I love the fire crabs. So many good fire crabs in Stormblood. Ah, hello. Fancy meeting you here, adventurer. I trust your exploration is proceeding without incident. as is Kryle's work with the proto-aetherite. Fascinating. I did not expect her to make such progress. This reversing of the flow intrigues me as well. Forgive my mutterings. I should thank you for sharing your discoveries with me. I feel as though I'm on the verge of an epiphany. Ever so helpful, aren't you? So eager to please, to set the wrong to right, as befits a hero and liberator. I really do owe it to you to return the favor, to help with your magicite collection efforts. Besides, I've no need of the stuff any longer. How forgetful of me. There was one bit of information I neglected to share with you earlier. The name of the deiform entity, the Elder Primal, that Galuf and the others sought to imprison in this place. They called it Eureka. The self-same name we bestowed upon this isle. An amusing coincidence, is it not? And yet, in retrospect, so very appropriate. Anyway, I'm afraid that's all I have to share for now. But if the fates conspire to reveal to me any further pearls of wisdom, rest assured, you'll be the very first to know. Okay. At the center of the confluence of ether, you find a shimmering stone, magicite, and upon its removal, the confluence dissipates. Welp. Back to Kryle, then. Kryle, I'm back. It's always a relief to see you return safe and sound. Did you find the magicite near the firing chamber? Sure did. But of course. Though, I take it there's something else you wish to share. Ejika's kind of being moody again. So according to Ejika, the deiform entity is also named Eureka, is it? I'm reminded of a conversation I once overheard, back before I left the Isle of Val. Raha, one of my colleagues, was discussing a theory he had concerning the Crystal Tower with Grandfather and other founders. As you may recall, Eureka was the name of an underground labyrinth said to contain the most powerful weapons of the Allegan Empire. At least that's how the legend goes, and Raha thought it might be beneath the Crystal Tower. I remember thinking at the time it was odd how the founders suddenly grew quiet and stone-faced, how Grandfather simply said no and ushered the others away, leaving Raha to wonder if he'd somehow given offense. And then I had to go and pick the same silly name when prompted by Rowena. Ugh, don't read too much into that. Seriously. Anyway, I can only presume that the founders' behavior that day was because, for them, the word Eureka had an entirely different meaning. Even though Raha was clearly talking about the labyrinth, their secret knowledge of the primal clearly weighed heavy on their consciences. You've given me much to think about, Derman. You may continue the expedition upon reaching level 40. Oh, but I... Yeah, Kryle, I can't wait anymore. I know this is sudden, but I have to ask. You didn't stumble across a piece of magicite recently, did you? Don't think so. I was afraid you might say no. You see, I've been tracking a number of confluences, but before I could pinpoint their exact location, each vanished without a trace, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, given that the ethereal currents have become more stable as a result, but I cannot believe this is a natural occurrence. Magicite doesn't simply vanish on its own, which leads me to believe someone's collecting it. If not you, then that leaves... Ejika? But even if he's trying to help, he could at least let us know. And if he's not doing it for us, then that leads me to wonder why. Until we meet again, though, we can only carry on with our original plans. There's one confluence I've located in West Flame Rock that has yet to dissipate. If you'd be so kind as to hasten to it and retrieve it, I would be most grateful. Anything for the Kryle. We go! Careful, careful. Pyros has sleeping dragons too. Gotta be careful. Tiptoe past the sleeping dragons. If they wake up, they'll be real grumpy. Can't have that. Not safe. Reached it. At the center of the confluence of ether, you find a shimmering stone, magicite. As you kneel to retrieve it, the confluence dissipates. All right, let's just head back the safe way, huh? Much better. Welcome back. I take it you have magicite for me. Here you go. And Ejika was nowhere to be found, was he? Not that I expected us to get that lucky again. As for me and my research, I think I'm getting closer and closer to understanding Grandfather's intent in reversing the flow. You'll forgive me if I refrain from divulging my theories until I'm more confident, though. I wouldn't want to look the fool. You may continue until... make me wait again. Come on. Cryo, come on. Come on. Good. It's so simple, Derman. How could I have not seen it earlier? It's a massive ward, one which encompasses the whole of the Isle. By diverting the ethereal currents as they did, Grandfather and the others transformed the Isle of Val into an arcane ward. But that was only in the beginning, for what Grandfather later realized was that by inverting the pattern and reversing the ethereal flow, the primal could be slowly drained of ether, eventually killing it once and for all. Oh, how to explain? It's like your Magia board. Yes, imagine the entire Isle of Val is one giant Magia board. Not exactly, of course, but close enough. Okay, following so far. Every confluence marks a blockage in the ethereal flow, reducing the effectiveness of the board. But with every blockage removed, the effectiveness increases and the ward holding the primal in place grows stronger. On second thought, that's not at all similar to the Magia board, but never mind that. The important thing is that removing the blockages is key to strengthening the ward, and to that end, we've made great strides. But, as it was with Pagos and mnemes before, we cannot simply clear the smaller blockages and call it a day. To completely restore the flow within a given region, we need to, in essence, align certain key points. Were I to return to my rather poor metaphor of a Magia board, these would be analogous to pieces of magicite, perhaps. Naturally, given the scale of the ward in question, those would need to be far larger than the pieces in our possession. For a region the size of Pyros, we would need at least 4... 4 what? Oh. Actually, that would make sense. Is it the big crystal? The giant spinning crystal thingies? What take me places? Giant spinning what now? Are you struggling to describe an aetheryte? By the 12th. For whatever inexplicable reason, I simply cannot help but miss the most obvious solution. I wonder if this is why the founders were so devoted to the study of aetheryte technologies. All the while, they were constructing an Ethernet that served a second secret purpose. I'm glad you're here to show me the light, Derman. Oh yes, I'm very wise. Gods, for a moment I thought that was an earthquake. I sense a disturbance in the ether. But this doesn't make any... Oh no. We have to go to the proto-aetherite right now. Let's go then. Tiny's away. No, this is all wrong. It was working perfectly fine before. How could this have happened? How indeed? I don't like that smirk. Ejika, what have you done? I've removed a rather vexing impediment from the equation. The proto-aetherite was integral to the ward. You knew, and yet you... Help me to understand, Ejika. As if either of you ever could. No, I think I'll let him do the talking. Breaker of chains, thou hast kept the faith. The covenant is forged. Bearer just and true, hand worthy to wield the blade. Huh. And what a magnificent blade it is. Pure ether by my reckoning. Perhaps the finest blade ever forged. All that I wanted and more. Such strength is now mine to command, to use as I see fit. Is this the power that sets your heart racing, O brave and beloved adventurer, when you hold your enemy's life in your hands? This isn't you, Ejika. Don't you see? The primal is clouding your mind. Oh, dearest Kryle, you could not be more wrong. I see it all so clearly now. With open eyes have I welcomed this power into my being, welcomed the glory of Eureka into my heart. In light he walketh, and in light he abideth, as did the one before who tried and failed to lay us low. But now we have a champion. Oh, Ejika, don't do this. Don't let it make you its thrall. I am, and ever will be, my own master, Kryle. I will wait for you within the tower, at its prison. But be warned, I will not wait forever. Ejika! I don't know what to do. Things do seem kind of bad. I don't know what to do. Even after reinforcing the frame, it's not enough to stabilize the internal components. At this rate, we'll never get it up and running again. If we were in the Sharlayan motherland, perhaps I'd have all the necessary equipment at my disposal, but it's on the other side of the world. Not only did Ejika destabilize the regional Ethernet, I fear he may have shattered the ward Grandfather and the others put in place. If so, then there's nothing stopping Eureka from feeding upon the ethereal currents. Eventually, it'll be strong enough to shatter the barrier encompassing our headquarters, and once that happens, it's all over. He's succumbed to the primal's influence, hasn't he? I don't want to believe it, but after everything he said and did... How did we come to this? Just when it felt we were so close to setting things right. If ever there was a time I wished Grandfather were here to offer his advice. Yep. Hold that thought. I can barely keep my eyes open. If I have to spend another night slaving away for the sake of ethereological experiments. For someone so exhausted, you clearly have enough energy to whine. As if it's not taking its toll on you, too. I can see it in your face, and hear it in your increasingly curt instructions. What you call curt, I call efficient. If you're so concerned about whiling away the hours, you could spare me the idle chit-chat and leave me to my work. Not all of us can coast on reputation and God's given blessings. Ejika, I'm not looking for another fight. I'm here to help. You can help by being anywhere but here. I have matters well in hand and do not require your assistance whatsoever. Oh, you mean now that we've solved those thorny problems which drove you to come to me in the first place? Why am I not surprised that once again you're pushing me away the moment you no longer have need of me? Ugh, I knew this was going to happen. Did you now? Then why did you come here? By the 12, Ejika, I don't hate you. I've never hated you. You're exhausting and annoying and rude and a bloody pain to work with. But you're also driven and clever, and God's help me, I actually enjoy your company. And I think your research has merit, and I want to see you succeed. Is that really so hard to believe? If you're going to stay, then you should at least make yourself useful.
Oh, Kryle, Ejika, you two do truly make a wonderful pair.
We do not.
Memories that I've borrowed from you, sorry.
Judging from that vacant stare of yours, I can only assume that you were walking in my memories. Oh, do I not have a vacant stare all the time? I just kind of assumed Dermot must. Especially out here, amongst all the smarties. He's always been like that, I suppose. Ever eager to take on the most challenging work, ever unwilling to admit he needs help unless pressed, and then quick to dismiss it after the fact. To someone like me, someone who's accustomed to navigating social circles and being mindful of what people think, his complete and utter disregard for the opinions of others was, quite frankly, admirable. In a way, I envied him. I shouldn't be thinking about him like this, like he's forever lost to us. We must carry on and do what must be done when the time comes. I'm going to need to reevaluate our situation and determine the best course of action.
Okay, I'll stand somewhere over to the side, not being in the way of useful people. You may continue the Eureka expedition upon reaching elemental level 50. Well then. I have reached that, but only just. Let's go see if we can be helpful. Kryle, how may I be of assistance?
Let's take stock of what we know. A deiform entity named Eureka was imprisoned within the central tower of the headquarters of the students of Baldesion by means of a complex arcane ward spanning the entirety of the Isle of Val. Said ward was then modified by Grandfather and the other founders to slowly drain Eureka of its considerable ether, eventually killing it once and for all. However, with the proto-etherite no longer operational, the ward has been broken, perhaps permanently. Without the ward to bind or drain it of ether, Eureka can feed on the ethereal currents to regain its strength and eventually break free of the barriers surrounding our headquarters. Assuming Eureka dates back to the time of Alleg, defeating it in the traditional manner would ensure it never returned, as those who summoned it forth are long dead. Yet Grandfather and the others instead elected to imprison it here on the Isle. The question is why? If, for some reason, slaying it is not an option, then we would need to restore the original ward. Alas, without the proto-etherite, I cannot see a means to do so. Simply put, we have no good options. That said, we cannot simply throw our hands up and do nothing, can we? I should like to think we are of one mind in that respect. So, in the spirit of trying something, anything, regardless of how ineffectual it may prove, I would like you to first help me tie up a loose end. I've detected another confluence in East Flame Rock, the last piece of magicite still clogging the ethereal arteries of Pyros, I suspect. I'd like you to go and collect it for me. Please. It's nice of you to say please. All right, let me go and gather up the rest of the gang because this is definitely not a safe corner of Pyros to be wandering to solo. Okay. Fortunately, I've got backup this time to protect me because, boy, running out to this one, it's all scary monsters. Even if you're capped out for this particular zone of Eureka, the monsters will still aggro you, and kill you. Just so angry. At the center of the confluence of ether, you find a shimmering stone, magicite. As you kneel to retrieve it, the confluence dissipates, as confluences are wont to do. All right, gang. Let's go back and see our favoritist Kryl. Kryl, we did a fetch. Good, you've returned. I hope your trip was uneventful. Mostly. Thanks to the group. Very big fireflies they have here. Or dragonflies. Fire dragonflies. You can imagine. And with that, we have the final magicite of Pyros. Thank you so much for this and everything else you've done for me. I've been thinking, Dermin. If the ward is the best means by which we might contain and defeat Eureka, then we must restore it. And we must do so without the proto-aetherite we cannot repair. And so I propose to you, what if we were to instead construct a new focal point to replace the void left by the proto-aetherite? I mean, I know most of those words. I'm quite serious. If we were to utilize the magicite we've collected thus far, I believe we could construct a facsimile to serve in the aetherite's place. I won't lie, doing this will take significant time and resources, materials, and manpower that we lack at present. Even so, I think this is our best option. To achieve this, we'll also need to redirect the ethereal streams to fuel the process, to immerse the magicite in a torrential flood of ether, namely the endless font rising from Pagos. Whether or not this is even possible is another question altogether. Therefore, I'd like you to perform a simple test for me. Okay. The magicite I've given you has been specially treated to facilitate the absorption of ether. I want you to take it to the cavern of the second cant, which is directly above the fumarole of Pagos. Hold it above the ethereal font and observe how it reacts. Then, return to me and report your findings. Thank you. You bet. Me and the gang will have that handled so quick. Okay, I just really need to stress how dangerous it is trying to get down to some of these areas. Like, you have to run past some monsters that'll just one-shot you. One of them's trying to do it right now. And, like, really regretting the decision. There's like 50 people behind that rock. But still, it's very dangerous coming out here. Don't try to do this alone. Maybe you don't have 50 people who you can all gang up with and power level through here, but find a friend or something, because boy, it's rough out here. Let's collect the thing and leave. Good views, though. The endless font of ether rising from Pagos far below continues into the skies high above. In mere moments, the treated magicite grows bright and warm as it reacts to the torrential stream of ether, as Kryl hoped it would. Perfection. Let's get the heck out of here. All right, Kryl, job is handled. Please don't send me back there again. Please tell me you come bearing good news. Nope, but here's your rock back. What a relief. Then the method I envisioned for constructing an aetherite facsimile to restore the wards should be viable. And with that, I believe we've once again come to the end of our time together. As I mentioned before, this process will require significant time and resources, which we lack at present. So there's nothing else you can contribute to our expedition for now. I should say, though, that the next stage of our expedition may well be our last. If we can't gain access to our headquarters soon, then we may be too late to stop Eureka. And then... I'll refrain from grim predictions and the like, especially when I should like to think that it will not come to that. We're coming for you, Ejika. Darn right we are. You've reached the conclusion of this chapter of the Eureka expedition. To continue, speak with Rodney at Pier 1 to travel to the Forbidden Land, Eureka Hydatos. The final Eureka area. Oh, and there's everyone. All right. Let's get out of here. We got a new place to go. And here we are. In the final zone of Eureka. Hydatos. This is a neat look. Love the rock geysers. Anyway, Kryle, you are talking to an elephant, and I don't mean to interrupt, but this is important. Ever a sight for sore eyes, Derman. By now it's no secret, but we can't well continue our work without you. As always, let us begin by taking stock of the situation. Through our previous investigation, we learned that the Founders had sealed away the primal Eureka on this isle. However, Ejika then came along and, acting at Eureka's behest, sabotaged the proto-etherite, what may be considered the beating heart of the ward, on account of which the ward has ceased to function. For a blessing, we discovered a way to restore it, by infusing magicite with copious amounts of ether to create a new focal point. It took considerable time and effort, but the preparations are now ready. All that remains is to reach the primal and seal it away once more. In order to do that, as per our original objective, we must gain entry to the students' headquarters. However, this has been rendered complicated, owing to a number of factors. Aside from lying beyond impassable terrain, the structure's protected by a ward of its own. Did you ever doubt it? Ordinarily, members of the students are able to teleport inside, but the high concentration of ether we've measured makes doing so extremely dangerous. We must ascertain the conditions first, or we risk not emerging from the lifestream. So I've a mind to enter via the back door, as it were. Yet this method of ingress, too, isn't without its problems. But it's better to explain it out in the field. Okay. And that's where we stand. Now, before we set out, there's one last matter I would like to attend to. You see, I had tasked the expedition scholar with researching legends pertaining to Eureka. I'd call it a scholar's hunch, but I thought that a hint might be scrounged from amongst the tales. But come, let's see what the good scholars dug up for us. Okay. Hello. Greetings, Mistress Kryle, Master Derman. May I assume you've come about the legends? Indeed we have. Did your efforts bear fruit? They did, I'm pleased to say. First of all, it must be noted that there are several legends describing the Forbidden Land Eureka. Despite their many divergences, however, all are united in one detail, that Eureka was a repository for transcendent weapons hidden beneath the Crystal Tower. Combining this fact with your account of Eureka's avatar forging a blade for Master Ejika, I'm led to conclude that the Primal possesses the ability to create weapons. Weapons forged by a Primal put in the hands of mortals. What could possibly go wrong? In his visions, Master Durrami heard the words, "Exposure places the bearer's very soul at hazard," did he not? I take that to mean that those who wield such weapons are at risk of becoming the Primal's vessel. Recognizing the danger, the Allagans sealed Eureka's weapons beneath the Crystal Tower, and this gave rise to the myriad legends of a forbidden land. Curious, though. Assuming Eureka was born of prayers, one would expect a deity the likes of Biragot to manifest, a brawny smithy working the forge. Yet what we have is a primal possessed of an autonomous avatar, which goes around promising power and glory. Not the kind of entity that would arise from homespun legends. No, it feels all too purposeful, calculated. But such musings are for another time. I have some few things to prepare in order to make use of the aforementioned back door. In the meantime, would you go and pay Geralt a visit? Yeah, why not? I understand he's devised yet more ways to ease your labors. Come and find me when you're done speaking with him. Okay. A moment, Master German. There is one more matter I wish to speak with you about. It pertains to the members of the students believed trapped inside the headquarters. We've been speaking of rescue, but based on what we know, that may be an overly optimistic view. The concentration of ether we've measured inside the tower is, to be blunt, not conducive to life. Certainly not over long periods. And all this time, there's been no observable movement from within. Of course, the students are knowledgeable and skilled folk, and they may have found some way to survive, but even as we cling to this hope, we should prepare ourselves for the worst. Forgive me for bothering you with gloomy talk. I won't keep you any longer. Pray, go and seek out Master Geralt. I shall. Let's go see what that fella's up to. Where is he? Oh, here you are. Geralt. Everything sorted with Kryle? Good, good. As before, I got a bunch of things to catch you up on. Prick up your ears and listen.
Hello. First, regarding the Logos manipulator. We've improved the vials we use to store transubstantiated mnemes. Mnemes. Sorry, I keep forgetting how to say the word right. It's a weird word, in my defense, meaning you can carry around more of the stuff. The Expedition Alchemist can tell you all about it. Next, your Magia board. If you was already impressed with 6 pieces of magicite, rejoice! We can now augment the thing to hold 7 stones. If you talk to the expedition engineer, he'll fix you up right-wise. And last but not least, my favorite topic. No, not me goddamn debts, you cheeky bloody sod. Weapons! I found you a way to make your weapons even stronger. If this tickles your fancy, you just let me know. And while you're here... Drake! Get your ass over here and tell the man about the logograms! Sir, I am pleased to inform you that we've discovered new varieties of logograms here in Hydatos. Certain combinations of these may yield heretofore unseen mnemes, and encourage you to experiment with the logograms you come upon. Sounds good. So, this is looking to be the final stage of the expedition. I stuck with you all this way, so don't go disappointing me now, huh? See the job finished. From myself as well, sir, I wish you the best of luck in your endeavors here. Well, thank you. Right, everything what needs saying's been said. If you want to know about weapon enhancement, we can talk now, otherwise you can piss off back to Kryl. That I shall, sir. Upon recording 56 or more unique entries, this doesn't matter. This does not matter to you. It scarcely matters to me. Kryl, I am done talking to Geralt. Everything sorted with Geralt? Excellent. Let us set out at once. Is what I would like to say, but I'm afraid I need more time to complete my tasks. Rather than standing idle at camp, though, may I suggest you acquaint yourself with the area outside? I should be able to complete my tasks meanwhile. You may continue at level 51. Well, what a coincidence. I just so happen to at this very moment be that thing. Apologies for the wait. We now have everything we need to make use of the back door. To be sure, there's still a couple of things that require doing out there. First, let's head to Central Columns. It's due south of here at the Val River source. I'll explain everything once we arrive. Oh, and I should mention that from this point on, I'll be delegating the bulk of my duties to the good scholar. If you ever want for guidance, she is the first person you should seek out. Without further ado, then. Okay. We've a wide new world to explore and so much grinding to do there, so let's be about it. By the way, in between the last time you saw me and now, I have worked with the rest of the group to get ourselves all the way to the level cap for Eureka. So I'm as high level as I can get, and let me assure you, even doing a lot of power leveling methods, it took us a couple of months of, well, not like nonstop. It was just like one day a week, we would spend several hours grinding as a big group, trying to get ourselves all leveled up through each area. Power leveling, using a whole lot of, like, impressive strategies and having like dozens of people all together being coordinated by a handful over Discord chats. Like, it was a whole endeavor that was planned and organized very well by a handful of folks. I'm grateful to everyone who showed up, but especially the people who did a whole bunch of planning and preparation and work figuring out how we were going to most efficiently level up Dermot and a bunch of other folks to get through Eureka
And I'm not done thanking those folks because, well, you know what, we'll get to that soon enough. Kryle. Sorry to keep you waiting. There was grinding to be done. You understand. Frankly, I don't know how you got out here. Ah. Once again, I'm reminded of this isle's dangers, and how much of a boon you are to our efforts. Without the lessons of your field investigations to draw upon, I don't think I would have made it here in one piece. Yeah, maybe you should let me do the running around. So, the back door. It's an ether bridge that conveys you to the tower's entrance, built for those who lack the ability to teleport. Neat. It's usable only by those with special permission, and right now it's not usable at all due to the obstruction in the livestream. In order to restore operation, we must repair the 3 sets of columns of the ether bridge. This requires that we seek out spots of pooled ether. Ooh, shiny. And deploy these regulators to restore the flow. I'd be grateful if you could assist with this task. According to my readings of the nearby area, the ether has pooled into 2 locations along the river's source, one in the north and another in the south. I'll search in the north if you would do likewise in the south. You should have luck looking east of the ether bridge foundation. Okay. Well then, let me go running off to that other locale. Somewhat carefully. I'm at level cap now, so a lot of enemies won't aggro me at all, and most of the ones that would, I can still deal with, but you don't want to be too reckless, even so. Maybe don't run too close to the ones that are very high level, certainly not in large groups. Anyway, let me go find the place. I think this is the right way. Maybe? It is an ether bridge foundation. But I'm not seeing any sparklies. Wait. Sparklies. Pooled ether. I found you. You deploy the regulator at the spot of pooled ether. It appears to have immediate effect. Oh. Well, good. I mean, it's glittering slightly differently than before, I think. It's probably working, right? Let's go back to Kryle. Neat environment, though. I love all the rising water. It's very neat. Anyway, by my readings, I presume you found and rectified the pooled ether. Excellent. With some minor adjustments, these columns will be in good order again. This may take a little time, though, so sit tight for now. Or go and smite the local wildlife, if you prefer. I'd certainly welcome fewer of them snapping at my heels. Boy. You and me both. Although fewer of them are now, thank goodness. It took some effort, though. By the way... This is neither here nor there, but it's just amusing. There's a lot of different strategies involved in power leveling a group of people through this kind of content, involving fighting monsters of a specific level higher than your lowest party member and attacking certain ones more than others, or letting certain monsters like evolve into larger, more scary versions of themselves and then killing them, which gives you a lot more experience. Like, there's a whole lot of nuance to it. The last stretch of leveling is literally a weird gimmick broken thing where one member of your party goes into this huge horde of sprites with no armor on so that they will take the maximum damage and cast some sort of magic which aggroes the sprites, and that magic is a reflect spell, which reflects all damage back at enemies. So all of the huge damage they would be taking from all those sprites gets reflected back at the sprites, kills the sprites, and levels everyone in the party. So everyone else in the party just sort of hangs back and doesn't do anything. And that's how you reach level cap. Actually, I reached level cap just by fighting a huge jellyfish with the group just for fun. But Eureka's silly, is my point. Anyway, Kryle's probably finished whatever Kryle was up to while I babbled. The adjustments are complete, Derman. Let's put our handiwork to the proof, shall we? Nice of you to include me in this process. Yes, everything appears to be in order. Hopefully the remaining 2 sets of columns will prove no more difficult. With that, let's make for the western columns. It's just south and east of unverified research. Right. Silent as a mouse. Silent as a mouse. Be careful. I'll see you over there. Ah, hey. Sun came out. The place is actually looking nice for once. Instead of outright hostile. By the gods, but that was close. I literally saw into its gullet. Ugh, cannot unsee. Forgive me, I'm all right now. So it appears that there are 2 spots of pooled ether in this area as well. Both are located in the northern reaches of the West Bank. Let's split up and find them. Please be careful. Don't get eaten by things. Huh, this thing looks important. And surrounded by things that might aggro me? Let's keep a respectful distance. Can I climb this? I can. It's very steep, though. It's just gonna let me go all the way to the top, huh? Hey, and that's where the thing is. Great. Business first, then we'll enjoy the view. There we are. Glitter away, my little thing. You deploy the regulator at the spot of pooled ether, and it appears to have immediate effect. As far as we can tell. Yeah, now there's a view, finally. Looking good, Eureka. Uncharacteristically so. I better go make sure Kryle's not getting eaten by something. Ah, good. You're still in one piece. There you are, Derman. And I see you managed to locate the other spot of pooled ether. I'll begin making my adjustments at once. As before, it may take a bit of time. Okay. You have like 10 seconds. Make it 20. This view is nice too. Bored. Okay. Kryle, are you done? I really hope so. Sorry for keeping you waiting. I've finished with my adjustments. Let's see if they did the trick. Good. No dramas here either. That leaves us with just the eastern columns. As the name suggests, they are located on the eastern bank of the river. Off we go then, and no more harrowing encounters. I agree. All right. Let's go to the other side of the map. Carefully. Well, it is rather lovely out here, actually. Oh boy, and way higher level too. Time to get very sneaky. Sneak, 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 sneak. Made it. It's so rare you actually get a nice, clear daytime with fair skies in this zone. I feel like for almost the entirety of my time grinding out here, I feel like I never saw that. I'm sure I did. But most of the time, it's like very orange or very snow. Or dark. It's nice. Anyway. After all this sneaking about, I've gotten somewhat used to it. Still, I'm a long way off strolling around this island as if it were a flower garden like you do. But, on to business. Again, we have 2 spots of pooled ether to account for. One's due east of here, while the other appears to lie at the northern edge of the riverbank area. I'll head east if you wouldn't mind taking your search north. See you back here afterwards, German. Sounds good. I'll be back in a jiff. Let's see, we should be starting to get close. Here we are. Perfect. You deploy the regulator at the spot of pooled ether, and it has an immediate effect of tying the whole space together. It's very nice. Anyway, back to Gryle. I believe I'd said at some point before that Eureka as a experience is kind of like experiencing Final Fantasy XI gameplay through very rose-tinted glasses. And I do need to stress that, like, even just the fact that when you see monsters here, they have a little nameplate over their head that tells you what level they are, so you can know whether you're about to walk into something dangerous. That's not a thing that existed in 11. Like, this thing would pick a fight with me, and maybe win. No, well, I could probably beat it, but it would pick a fight with me for sure. I would have to manually click on and /check everything I passed as I was running around in 11 to know whether it was something that was safe for me to run past or something that was going to attack me. And if it was within, like, 5 levels of me or so, it would attack me and beat me, because you couldn't do anything solo in 11 past a certain point. Anything that you were high level enough to get experience from would murder you if you're by yourself. It's much less that way now. Now they've put in some ways that you can play alone in 11 if you want to, but it's still very hostile as an MMO experience. Kind of comes from that pre-World of Warcraft era, where MMOs just, they didn't really respect your time. In fact, they hated your time, and they hated that you had it, and they didn't want you to have it anymore. You think MMOs claim your time now? Boy. At least they have the decency to be fun now. Anyway, the regulator's in place? Excellent. As before, I'll need to carry out some adjustments. Pray, bear with me for a while. Okay, but only for like a little tiny while, though. It's a nice view, but I think I'm ready to be done, Kryl. Feeling ready to be done with Eureka. Apologies for making you wait repeatedly. I am pleased to say I've completed my adjustments, and with even greater care than usual. I don't even need to try to know that this'll work. See? What did I tell you? With all 3 sets of columns thus repaired, the ether bridge should be operational again. At long last, we may enter the tower. I've taken the liberty of granting you permission to use the bridge, so we may make the crossing at any time. Come, let's make our way thither. Okay, and here comes the rain. Well, the nice views were nice while they lasted. Huh, actually, still not bad. Now then. Let's find where Kryl's hanging out. I'm headed in the right direction. And there are fewer monsters down here, thank goodness. Because we've finally almost reached this place. Though we won't be going in until next time because, boy, in there is going to be a whole ordeal that I'm a little nervous about, if I'm honest. This is it, Dermot. The path to the tower lies wide open. Within, we are like to encounter both Ejika and Eureka's avatar. They won't allow us to simply walk in and restore the ward, yet that is precisely what we must do. After all of our toils to reach this point, we cannot stop now. Let us go. Oh boy. Headquarters entrance, I wonder. Is that safe to walk inside? I'm sure it's fine. Ah, we fly. Not what I expected. Huh. And here we are. Headquarters. Cool. Well, tell you what, let's go ahead and save the remainder of this for next time. Take care, all of you, and I'll see you next time for the conclusion of Eureka. Until then, goodbye!